The Texas State Board of Education has the authority to oversee the TEKS review process. The high school science TEKS were adopted by the board in November 2020, and the kindergarten through grade 8 science TEKS were adopted in December 2021. The TEKS review process includes educator feedback from teachers, district content leadership groups, and the Educator Advisory Committee formed as part of House Bill 3906. The new TEKS are scheduled to be implemented into the classroom during the 2024-2025 school year. Only content that overlaps the old and new TEKS and was previously assessed will be eligible to be assessed on STAR during the 2024-2025 school year. The 2024-2025 school year is referred to as the transition year. The full implementation of the new science TEKS into STAR will be in the 2025-2026 school year, which is the second year that the new TEKS are taught in the classroom. The 2025-2026 school year is referred to as the full implementation year. The assessed curriculum document and blueprint for all the implementation year are currently in development and expected to be posted at the beginning of the 2024-2025 school year. The assessed curriculum and blueprint documents for the 2024-2025 school year have been posted and are located on the Science Star Resources webpage of the TEA website. Under Assessed Curriculum, the transition year documents are under the 2024-2025 transition year subheading. Under Blueprints, the transition year blueprints are also under the 2024-2025 transition year subheading. These documents apply to the 2024-2025 school year only, and both documents contain a draft watermark. When documents are marked with the draft watermark, it means that the documents are not in effect for the current school year. Once the 2023-2024 school year is completed, the watermark will be removed to indicate that these documents are in effect, and any outdated documents will be removed. The goal for the transition year is to keep the blueprint as similar as possible to the blueprint used prior to the implementation of the new science TEKS. The number of questions and points have not changed. The only changes made to the transition year blueprint are the number of standards eligible to be assessed. This number is determined by the overlap curriculum outlined in the side-by-side assessed curriculum document for the 2024-2025 school year. These changes will be indicated in red. The side-by-side assessed curriculum document for the 2024-2025 school year does not contain all of the science TEKS to be taught. It only contains standards that were taught and assessed in the previous year that overlap with the new TEKS taught in the classroom, beginning with the 2024-2025 school year. The content in black font is the content that overlaps between the old and new TEKS and is eligible to be assessed in the 2024-2025 school year. The left-hand side of the document contains the standards taught and assessed before the 2024-2025 school year. The right-hand side contains the new science TEKS as the content aligns to the assessed curriculum for the old TEKS. The labels of readiness and supporting remain the same as they were in the previous assessed curriculum document. As you can see from this section, we have several places where content is in red. In the middle of the page, the new 6.9b has the words "and predict how" and "due to gravitational forces" listed in red as additions to the requirements of the old 8.7c standard. This standard is eligible to be assessed in the 2024-2025 school year, except for the parts identified in red. The content from 8.8c in the left column aligns with the content for 8.8b in the right column. However, both standards are in red font, which means that the new 8.8b is not eligible to be assessed in the 2024-2025 school year. Notice the verbs used in both standards. In the old 8.8c, students were expected to identify how different wavelengths of the electromagnetic spectrum are used to gain information about components of the universe. In the new 8.8c, the content is still about electromagnetic waves, but students are asked to explain uses of these waves and applications. Because the students are asked to do something different with the content, this standard would not be considered as part of the overlap. The old 8.7b requires students to demonstrate and predict the sequence of events in the lunar cycle. The right column is empty because this content was either removed from the revised TEKS or has moved out of the middle school grade band. Since the old 8.7b is in red, this content is not eligible to be assessed in the transition year. For questions about where content may have moved, alignment documents are available on the Curriculum Science page, located on the TEA website. A second version of the 2024-2025 side-by-side transition year document was created in collaboration with the Texas Science Education Leadership Association, TSELA, and is available on the Texas Assessment website. To locate this version of the side-by-side documents, go to texasassessment.gov and click on the Educator tab at the top of the web page. On the Educators page, scroll down to the bottom of the page and select Find More Resources. Type 2024-2025 into the search bar to access the documents. These documents are listed as a group first and then individually by grade band or course. This document shows the content eligible to be assessed in green font on the right-hand side under the new TEKS. Other content in the new TEKS that aligns to standards in the assessed curriculum is shown in gray. The assessed curriculum documents for the full implementation of the science TEKS into STAR and the new blueprints are currently in development. TEA expects to post these documents early in the 2024-2025 school year. In preparation for the full implementation of the new science TEKS into STAR, TEA is developing stimulus-based item sets, or clusters, to include for science beginning with the 2025-2026 school year. The clusters allow the content to be grouped together and more closely align with classroom instruction. They can also reinforce the recurring themes in the new TEKS. Each cluster is composed of one stimulus and 3 to 5 questions. Each question in the set will reference the stimulus and vary in question type and student expectation. Each question will be scored individually, and the accommodation of text-to-speech will be available. The stimulus-based item sets are currently in development and will go before teacher committees beginning in summer of 2024. They are scheduled to be field tested during the 2024-2025 school year before appearing as scored items in the 2025-2026 school year. Once they go live on STAR, each science assessment will have 1 or 2 clusters. As clusters are developed, there are several things that need to be taken into consideration. Students across the state use screens that vary in size. Question writers are directed to be aware of the limited amount of space that is available. There should not be any horizontal scrolling, and vertical scrolling should be minimized. The stimulus must consist of at least one graphic, which could include data displays. Some reading may be required to inform the student about the graphics, but the amount of reading required should be limited. Each of the questions in the cluster are scored individually, not as a set. Each question will count as a separate question in the blueprint. The question types will vary within the cluster. In the samples, a different question type is used for each question. This is to provide multiple examples of the new question types. In clusters developed for STAR, some question types might be repeated within a cluster. Links to the cluster samples and answer keys are located on the Release Test Questions webpage of the TEA website. Select the Sample Test Questions tab and use the blue triangle next to the year 2023 to expand the menu. Links to the answer keys and the practice test site are provided. The questions included in the clusters are examples. They have not been through the STAR review process, which includes teacher committees, and they do not have performance data attached to them. These sample questions were created with the intent to be an example, not to appear on a STAR assessment. As previously stated, the cluster practice sets have not been through the educator review process that all STAR questions go through before appearing on STAR. Therefore, there is no data attached to any of these questions. A variety of questions has been included in the examples, including the inline choice and match table grid samples that are now in development for science. Students have experience with both question types and other content areas. The example questions will not go through the editing process. In summary, let's look at what the instruction and assessment timeline looks like for the classroom. During the 2023-2024 school year, the TEKS that were adopted in 2017 are taught and assessed in the classroom. In the 2024-2025 school year, the new TEKS adopted in 2020 and 2021 are taught, and only the content that overlaps the old and new TEKS will be assessed. The side-by-side documents and transition year blueprints will be in effect for this school year. In addition, the cluster item sets, inline choice questions, and match table grid questions will be field tested on STAR. In the 2025-2026 school year, the new TEKS are taught and assessed using the new assessed curriculum documents and blueprints. For the 2025-2026 school year only, the Grade 3 and Grade 6 standards that will appear on the full implementation assessed curriculum documents will not appear on STAR. This is to allow for the instructional shifts of the content. In addition, the cluster item sets, inline choice questions, and match table grid questions will be eligible to appear on the test as scored questions. Let's look at when the new documents and assessed resources for this transition will be available. In the 2023-2024 school year, the transition year assessed curriculum and blueprint documents are available on the TEA website. Remember that a second version of the assessed curriculum, or side-by-side document, is available on the Texas Assessment website at www.texasassessment.gov. For the 2024-2025 school year, the assessed curriculum and blueprint documents for the full implementation are expected to be posted on the TEA website after the summer teacher committees have concluded, which will be approximately July or August of 2024. Remember, in the 2025-2026 school year, the Grade 3 and Grade 6 standards that appear on the full implementation assessed curriculum documents will not be included on STAR to allow for instructional shifts in the new TEKS. Beginning in the 2026-2027 school year, all standards on the assessed curriculum documents are available to be assessed on STAR. For questions about the transition year documents for implementing the new science TEKS into STAR, please contact the Assessment Development Division using the Assessment Help Desk.